More than 30 major games cleared out of a single week in November 2026. Marvel's Wolverine jumped back to September, and a new Fable slid all the way into 2027, both to avoid standing next to GTA 6 on launch day. One studio boss reportedly called it a huge meteor. I've never watched an entire industry rearrange its calendar around one release. So, today isn't about whether GTA 6 is a big deal, we're well past that. It's about why it pulls this kind of gravity and what happens when it finally lands. Let's get into it. Now, before I start, this video is split into two halves. The first half, the why, is mostly history and hard numbers. The second is me reading the road ahead, and I'll mark every guess as a guess. Fair enough? Let's take the why first. So why is anyone this worked up over a sequel? Start with the simplest fact. GTA 5 came out in September 2013, and GTA 6 arrives in November 2026. That's 13 years. The longest gap between two mainline Grand Theft Auto games, by a wide margin, back when the previous record was closer to 5. A whole console generation came and went inside that gap. Kids who watched an older sibling play GTA 5 are old enough to buy GTA 6 themselves now. But the thing is though, Rockstar didn't actually go dark for 13 years. GTA Online was bringing in constant and significant revenue. The GTA franchise earned around $10.4 billion since GTA 5 came out. Of that number, around $5 billion, so almost half, came from GTA Online and its microtransactions, years after the discs first shipped. GTA 5 has sold around 225 million copies, which makes it one of the best-selling pieces of entertainment ever made in any medium. So the franchise never left. It just kept printing money while the sequel cooked. And that turned GTA 6 into a running joke that lived on social media for the better part of a decade. Then there's how Rockstar handled the wait, which is almost the opposite of how everyone else markets a game. They barely said anything. The first official confirmation that GTA 6 even existed came in a short Rockstar post in February 2022. And then, silence. In a world of daily teasers and roadmap streams, that silence made every scrap of information detonate. And in September 2022, a lot of it got out at once. Around 90 clips of early development footage leaked online after someone broke into Rockstar's systems in what's widely described as one of the biggest breaches in gaming history. I'm not going to walk you through leaked material, and Rockstar has never confirmed what was in it. What matters for this video is the effect. Instead of killing the hype, the leak fed it, and Rockstar still didn't change its approach. So, when the first real trailer finally dropped in December 2023, all that pressure had nowhere to go but up. It crossed 90 million views in a single day and took a Guinness World Record for a game that still had no release date. The record it broke had belonged to Mr. Beast, and on its reveal day, the trailer reportedly outviewed the reveals for Cyberpunk 2077, Red Dead Redemption 2, and a mainline Zelda combined. By late 2025, it had even passed the trailer for Avengers Infinity War to become, by the counts going around, the most viewed trailer in YouTube history. That last figure comes from tracking sites rather than an official plaque, so hold it a little looser. Either way, a trailer for an unreleased game was outrunning some of the biggest films ever made. And then there's what this specific game promises, which is where I stop quoting numbers and start giving you my read. We're going back to Vice City, Rockstar's take on Miami, a place you haven't been able to actually play in since 2002. That's 24 years of nostalgia sitting behind a single setting. The game also gives the series its first female lead, Lucia, alongside her partner Jason, and Rockstar's framing of the two of them against the world is a real narrative swing for a franchise that usually runs on lone anti-heroes. Now stack that on top of Red Dead Redemption 2, which set a bar for open-world detail back in 2018 that people still bring up 7 years later. Put all of that together, and you get a game Rockstar genuinely cannot afford to launch quietly. Which means GTA 6 has to live up to something harder than any rival release, everyone's memory of the last one. Okay, so that's the why. Now, what does a game this big actually do to everything around it? The first answer isn't a guess, because it's already happening. Look at the release calendar, and you can see the crater. Publishers have spent the last year pulling their games out of GTA 6's path. More than 30 major titles piled into the stretch from late August to late October 2026, all racing to bank their sales before November. A new Fable moved to early 2027. Tomb Raider and a Persona remake landed over there too. Microsoft lined up Gears of War to arrive before the storm. Reports even had a couple of big live service games planning to skip major updates during the launch window so their players wouldn't drift off. One small studio looked at the whole exodus, planted its flag on November 5 anyway, and posted a line I loved. Maybe we're just not afraid enough. Good for them, but they're the exception that proves how spooked everyone else is. And there's a real cost here. A jammed September can bury smaller studios that got shoved into the same 3 weeks. So one game's gravity quietly becomes a lot of other games' problem. Here's a quieter consequence that I think matters more than it looks. GTA 6 pre-orders opened at $79.99 for the standard edition and $99.99 for the ultimate. Publishers have been inching toward the $80 price for a few years, testing it on a big title here and there, and mostly they flinched the moment players pushed back. The reason nobody wants to move first is simple. Whoever raises prices first tends to eat the backlash by themselves. GTA 6 is the one game that doesn't really have that problem, because demand for it is about as close to guaranteed as anything gets in this business. So if the biggest game on the planet launches at that number and sells the way everyone expects, I'd bet it gets very hard for anyone else to keep arguing that 70 is the ceiling. It hands every other publisher the cover to follow. That's speculation, to be clear. I have no way of knowing how other publishers price their 2027 slates. But if you want to know where the next few years of game prices get set, watch what happens when this one launches at 80 and doesn't blink. And the last one is the longest range bet of all. So please treat it as exactly that. Remember that GTA 5 made roughly half of its $10+ billion from GTA Online, spread across more than a decade after launch. The disc itself was never really the prize, the ongoing service behind it was. If GTA 6 pulls off the same trick, its online mode could quietly carry Take-Two into the 2030s and become the backbone of the entire company. Think about that for a second. A game you buy once in 2026 could still be Take-Two's single biggest earner in 2032. Whether it lands the way GTA Online did, I'm not going to pretend I know. Online worlds are fickle and tastes move. But if I had to bet on where the real money in GTA 6 actually lives, I'd point past launch week entirely, out toward year 5. So here's where I land. The anticipation around GTA 6 isn't manufactured hype. It's 13 years of pressure with nowhere to go. From a franchise that never actually left, and a studio that said almost nothing, and somehow made that silence louder than any ad campaign. And the result is already showing up before a single copy has sold. The calendar bent around it. The prices are creeping up behind it. The whole industry is bracing for it. Whether the game itself earns all of that lands on November 19. So let me hand it to you. What's the one thing GTA 6 has to nail for you to say the wait was worth it? Tell me in the comments. I read them. And if you want the grounded version of every GTA 6 story instead of the loudest one, subscribing helps more than you'd guess. Next time, we're breaking down that rumored budget, department by department, and how much of it we can actually verify. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.